Next on the Broadway Show, Emmy winner Sarah Paulson is here to talk about her long-awaited Broadway return, Inappropriate. Plus, we're getting to know the incredible creative team behind the brand new musical, How to Dance in Ohio. And we're on the star-studded red carpet for the opening night of Spamalot. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is the Broadway Show.
Happy Thanksgiving weekend and welcome to the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. Emmy winner Sarah Paulson comes back to Broadway for the first time in 13 years in the family drama Appropriate. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
TV fans adore Sarah Paulson for performances in shows like American Horror Story, American Crime Story, Ratched, and more. I sat down with her next door at Sardi's to talk about what returning to the stage means to her. Sarah, it's so good to have you back on the boards. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
A lot of emotions?
A lot of emotions. A lot of terror. Good terror. Terror that I think can be a nice fire under one's bum.
You're such a person of the stage, a theater person. You know, obviously you're an Emmy-winning Hollywood star now, but I like to think of you as a theater girl.
I like to think of that.
Yes.
Too.
So I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for you to sign up for something. And why was this the right play and the right time?
I just was blown away by the writing, and I just thought, if I'm going to do a play, it has to rival something else that I might traditionally find myself doing that would be interesting enough, because the commitment is different than doing a film or television piece. I mean, Impeachment took 10 months to film, so it's not like I haven't done things that have run for a very long time.
Yeah.
But it's the rehearsal process and the doing the same piece over and over and over again that I was like, I want it to be something that I feel could be constantly compelling and something where you're constantly needing to work. It's not just coming in and trying to do a Xerox copy of what you did the night before. And that's really exciting to me. And also exciting to me to do now as the actor I hope I am that I wasn't the last time I was on stage. Hopefully that will encourage deeper, richer, better work.
So this play, Appropriate, by Brandon Jacobs Jenkins, a lot of people say it harkens back to classics. I've seen you do Tennessee Williams. You were fantastic in Glass Menagerie on Broadway. Does it have sort of a classic vibe to it?
I know what people mean, and I think even some people are getting that from Brandon himself, has sort of talked about the play in that way in terms of what inspired him. I think of it really as a family drama by way of a very dark comedy. The play is wildly funny and very dark. It's really interesting to explore relationships inside family units and how wildly different they can be in terms of how you relate to a parent. Each child can sometimes have a very, very different relationship with their parents. And then what happens to the individual that has this sort of, what they determine the more special relationship or the closer, the more strange relationship, and then what that does to the three siblings at the heart of this play.
So we're dealing with a white family, that owns a plantation in the South in the not so distant past.
Yes.
The patriarch has died, right?
Yes.
And you're going to clean the house. That classic sort of.
Yeah, I mean,
You're Tony.
I am Tony. She is the eldest sibling, which is, you know, not nothing for my ego, given that, you know, I'm the only lady of the three siblings and I am the eldest. And that's fine.
And she seems like she's had a life.
She's had a life, and a difficult one in the last years. In the last 2 years leading up to the moment where we meet her in the play have been incredibly challenging and have created a person who is perhaps a little harder to reach than she might have been 5 years ago. And she loved her father very much and is very emotionally destabilized by the death of her father. More of Tony's life has been spent caring for other people.
Yeah.
And no one is really interested in taking care of Tony. And that is challenging.
And a lot of questions come up about Dad.
A lot of questions come up about Dad. A lot of things I don't want to reveal because I do think they are center around plot spoiling things that I do think make the play surprising and unexpected, and I want to keep that there. But there are questions about who this man was that are very, very challenging for my character, because she believes him to be nothing but the greatest man who ever lived.
What does it mean to see your face on a marquee again on Broadway?
Well, to be honest, I've never seen my face on a marquee. I've never seen my big old mug. This is, and it is
congrats.
Thank you. I guess it tells a story of the road I've traveled
Yeah,
since
so
the last
let's
time I
talk
was.
about that road, because I know you moved to New York when you were a little girl. You grew up in Florida, and then you moved here with your mom. I believe you have a connection to this place thanks to your mom.
I do. My
We're at
mom.
Sardi's,
We're
of
at
course.
Sardi's.
We're at the classic.
Yeah, it's the classic Sardi's.
Broadway
My
watering
mom,
hole.
watering hole. Yeah, my mom moved to New York. I think she was about 27 years old, and I was 5, and my sister was 3, and we lived in Queens. And my mom was a waitress. My mom was a waitress here at Sardi's.
But did you ever walk these streets? Did you ever walk under that theater marquee that your face
Sure.
is now on?
Yes. I mean, we were driving up and we pulled up and I was like, oh my God, my face. Oh my God, this is Sardi's? Wow. I'm never not going to be a person for whom this is wild and cool and a dream come true. I'm just also a person who has to actually do the job. So I need to sort of separate the outrageous, psychotic insanity of my face being there, I don't know what, to sell a ticket, to let everyone know I'm here. It just is enough to make me need a lot of Pepto-Bismol. I wanted to be on television, I wanted to be in movies, I wanted to be on Broadway, and those things have happened, and here it is happening, and it's very exciting.
It's another must-see show and another star-studded opening night on Broadway. The search for the Holy Grail continues on Broadway this fall. It's a revival of Spamalot, the 2005 Tony winner for Best Musical, based loosely on Monty Python and the Holy Grail. We hit the red carpet with the stars on opening night.
Spamalot is this beautiful send-up of the story of King Arthur as, the brainchild of Monty Python. And if you don't know Monty Python, then coming in fresh is just as funny. It's cutting and it's silly and it's dumb, but it's also really clever and smart and critical and socially critical. So you can kind of go in and check out, but you'll also leave with maybe some thoughts.
Obviously, there's the movie, but you don't have to watch the movie to come to the show and enjoy it. We do our own little modern twist. We have a whole different sort of cast. It's funny, and we really sing.
It attracts people who don't necessarily like musicals, because it's sort of a piss take as well. I mean, it does take the pee out of Broadway. And, everybody think, and also it attracts a lot of guys who want to go rather than, the football matches. And so it kind of brings a healthy crowds, I've noticed, and often of all ages. So there'll be 3 generations. And that's a really kind of amazing and flattering for the original source material, I think.
I'm usually a funny sidekick woman. To finally sort of be in front when I look at that billboard and I see me holding the Grail in front of this incredible group of men, it's sort of like my arrival. I feel like at my age, I've been in this business a long time. It is a real moment for me, and I'm just so honored. I get to be funny. I get to really sing. I get to do a little bit of all of it, and I'm just honored.
We're walking with giants. There's a lot of incredible ghosts in the room with us. When I first saw this, Clay Aiken was playing my part, and he was terrific. My friend David Turner played this part. David Hyde Pierce, my hero, played this part. Eric Idle played this part. These beautiful souls, theater makers, are part of this show with us, and we feel them every night.
I think what's beautiful about Broadway, and when Broadway is its most successful, is when there's a variety of stories, a variety of tones, and we feel so lucky to be bringing in, at the end of the year here, something so bright and silly and fun. We guarantee you'll leave the theater feeling good, and that's all we want. And for my money, the prestige of an iconic comedy group like Monty Python means the world to me. They've inspired me. They've informed my sensibilities. So to be here, kind of carrying on their legacy, is a real honor.
For tickets and more, head over to Broadway.com.
And speaking of Broadway.com, we're rolling out a new vlog in honor of Spamalot. We're giving the camera to Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer. Episode 1 of the Weekly Grail is live right now on Broadway.com. Another star-studded production is headed to Broadway in early 2024. It's a revival of An Enemy of the People, starring Emmy and Golden Globe winner Jeremy Strong, alongside Emmy winner Michael Imperioli. He's making his Broadway debut. We got to know the stars.
To be honest, returning to the stage was not something sort of on my radar. But I read the play, and it really struck me like a bolt of lightning. I've heard it described as a man confronting the necessity of action at the same time as the impossibility of action. And you see the powers that be in the town have a vested interest in protecting the status quo and an economic interest. And reading the play, it just ricocheted across every single thing that we're living through and confronting.
One of the really interesting things about the play is that although Thomas is the hero, but he's also flawed, and the other characters who kind of initially stand on what we would consider the right side of the argument, you know, from a more humanistic side, they also have their own investment and their own agendas. It's not just so clear-cut, he's the bad guy and he's the good guy, and there's a lot of gray area. I think it's more timely now than it was since it was written, in a strange way. I mean, Miller kind of leaned into the McCarthyism and that aspect of what was very pressing and important at the time, but it really seems to hold much more weight now than it did back then.
This is the Broadway Show, and we're back in just a few.
Hey, what's going on? This is Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. You're watching the Broadway Show.
How to Dance in Ohio is now on Broadway based on the award-winning HBO documentary, and it features 7 neurodiverse actors making their Broadway debuts. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Thanks, Tamsen. How to Dance in Ohio is gearing up for Broadway. I sat down with creators Rebecca Greer-Milosic and Jacob Yandura to find out all about this brand new musical. So this is your Broadway debut.
It is.
It is.
So let's talk about and introduce to people what this show is.
Sure. So How to Dance in Ohio is about a group of young adults on the autism spectrum learning how to transition into adulthood by preparing for their first spring formal dance. And I found the documentary on HBO actually one night, and I thought it was such a cool thing. Ohio's in the title. I'm from Columbus. And around that same time...
So you were just like scrolling and you were like...
Just scrolling.
That one.
Yeah. Yeah, we were looking for a new project at the time, and so we were watching as many documentaries and films and reading The New Yorker and like trying to find something.
Well, so Jacob watches it, and I get an email late that night that's just like, stop everything you're doing, you have to watch this documentary. I watched it and I felt the same way, that, oh, this is such a beautiful story about humans connecting and communicating.
And it was really helpful for me at the time too, and my family. My sister was diagnosed with autism, gosh, right in 2017 when I first saw the documentary. So it's been a really cool process for us.
So what about this documentary, which is also called How to Dance in Ohio?
Correct.
What about the documentary saying to you?
For me, a lot of it was looking at characters, human beings, of course, but we had to abstract the people in the documentary and turn them into characters, and this idea of what does the internal world look like versus the external world? Like, how does, again, communication happen with this group of people, both autistic and allistic, which means non-autistic? And seeing, how does song function with a character who is perhaps so shy and introverted that they can't even say 3 words, to their friends. How do we find the lyric to express what's happening internally? That was a great challenge.
Well, and I think music in itself is universal, and I think the universal need of wanting to connect with someone, another human being, and that idea of building community together was so singable to me, and it's high emotion.
Australia is an island out in the Pacific that's mostly a desert. Australia is a lesson in what isolation and distance can do.
Well, you're making history in several ways, and one is that these performers are autistic adults playing these characters that are autistic. So tell me about why that was important.
It's funny now at this point of the process, because the fact that anybody 6 years ago was like, where are you going to find these people? We just always kind of assumed that, one, there's probably a bunch of neurodivergent, autistic actors that just aren't out as that, that they're around us, but worried about the stigma. If we didn't know them already, that like obviously they're there. This is a huge population, a huge demographic of people. I'm really excited for these actors to be in this show, but also I hope that this just launches a long career because there are so many talented new actors. Australia's a lesson in what isolation and distance can do. A land of unlikely animals, so strange they couldn't possibly be true.
Thanks for staying with us for this latest episode of The Broadway Show. So glad you're here.
There's nothing like experiencing your first Broadway show, and the Broadway League has an exciting program to make that happen for New York City students. It's called Broadway Bridges, in partnership with NYC Public Schools and the United Federation of Teachers. Broadway Bridges just celebrated an awesome milestone in Times Square, welcoming 100,000 students to Broadway since the program's inception back in 2017.
Let's send it out to Perry Sook.
For many, a love of theater starts right here in the classroom, and the Broadway Bridges program helps take that passion a step further. I'm here at the Leadership and Public Service High School to talk to Principal Philip Santos about the program and what it does for his students. Hello, Principal Santos.
How you doing?
You've got an exciting day ahead of
Yes,
you.
definitely.
A matinee, a trip to Times Square, and I'm getting excited already just looking at these. Are these all past Broadway Bridges
Yes,
experiences?
the last 2 years of students being exposed to Broadway for the first time, it's life-changing.
It really is. I mean, I just looking at all their faces. Everyone is so excited, and the breadth of shows you guys have seen.
right,
I
yeah.
mean, those are experiences that'll change a life.
That's right.
Yeah, let's dig in. Normally I'm nervous to go to the principal's office, but do you mind showing me?
Let's go.
Where did your importance that you place on the arts come from?
So in high school, there was a theater club, and I joined because there was a girl I was interested in that was part of the theater club. Honestly, in the beginning, I wasn't really into it, but over the years, I've grown to appreciate it. In college, I worked for the public theater. I did security for the public theater.
Wonderful.
And just to see the in and outs, all the work that went behind it, that was it. I was done.
What kind of interaction? I mean, are the kids here pretty enthusiastic about the programs?
Yes, the theater club we started last year.
Wow.
And it was a huge hit. There's always a waiting list. First come, first serve. We're close to having, I think it's 150 students that have been to Broadway starting last year. I think we're on our 8th or 9th show. So it's, once I send the email out, that's it.
What kind of effect when kids make it into that theater club for the first time? Me, I've always kind of been loud and outgoing, but I had a lot of friends that were super shy until they got on the stage, and that's really how they opened up. Do you see that effect in your students?
Definitely. Like for us, it's about the exposure. So when the students, they know of Times Square, they know that there's shows taking place, but to take them for the first time, to walk through the security and to sit down and get the playbill, it's a completely different world. And as it's their city, so they deserve to experience all those things.
What kind of things do you feel like you do here to encourage that desire to be a part of the arts?
Yeah. For us, it's always about the passion of a teacher. If a teacher's passionate about, it could be anything, chess, opera, students gravitate to that passion. And then students get exposed to things that they would never be exposed to if it wasn't for that. And then they take it from there.
Well, you guys have a great time at Times Square, and I will meet you at Some Like It Hot.
Awesome, thank you.
About 100 students coming to come see Some Like It Hot. We've got some of your students. What is the importance of this program and giving this opportunity through Broadway Bridges for students to get to see a Broadway show?
The way I look at it, Broadway Bridges provides them the opportunity to experience what should be theirs. It opens their eyes to a bigger world. There's so much more than their neighborhood, than their family, than what they see at school. So for them to see the potential, what's out there, I think it's amazing.
Well, so I got to ask you guys, are you guys excited? Are you ready to have your eyes open? Have you guys been to a musical before, or is this the first one? Your first one, Some Like It Hot. Are you guys ready to go inside?
Yeah.
All right.
Giving Tuesday is right around the corner, and for that, we want to highlight a couple of great organizations that support the arts, artists, and art education. The Arthur Miller Foundation, for example, works to support public school theater education. The Entertainment Community Fund provides a safety net for performing arts and entertainment professionals. And of course, there's Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. They provide food, medicine, and other health care all across the country to people affected with HIV, AIDS, COVID, and other life-threatening illnesses. Check out givingtuesday.org for more information.
And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to check out extended cuts of all the interviews, head over to Broadway.com. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.